What is a stroke? I think a lot of people probably feel they have a good answer to that question. If you say to them, what is a stroke? They have an understanding that there's weakness, walking is affected, it's something to do with the brain. But I think for most people, it kind of ends there. There's sort of a vague understanding of that term, but there's a lot more details that are being left out of their own explanation of it. Not only what is a stroke, how much does it affect people that are older, but also specifically what's going wrong in the person that's had a stroke, and then what are the best ways to help that person overcome those difficulties. In a journal article called Gait Post-Stroke that was published in 2015 in the Journal of Clinical Neurophysiology, they looked at what the actual effects of a stroke were on a person. And they wanted to go in depth by research and show what types of things a stroke really does to a person. So this was a meta-analysis of 275 articles. One of the findings of the study was that when we think of something such as strength, we oftentimes think of strength as being a direct relationship to the amount of actin and myosin in each muscle cell. But what the researchers found in this study was when you looked at someone that had had a stroke, that strength was a function of a lot of different things at the same time. It was a function of motor control, which is sort of the actin and myosin, the nerves controlling the muscle cells, but also a function of the motor planning area, a function of the coordination area, a function of a person's ability to adapt in different situations. It was a function of a person's ability to have sensation and things like proprioception. It was a function of segmental control. And it was even a function of intention. So all these different regions of the brain are responsible for all those different things. Whether you're talking about motor control, which is one region, or motor planning, which is another region, that all of those different regions of the brain and those different functions of the brain are what accounted for someone who had had a stroke for their strength. So it's not just actin and myosin strength. And the study made an interesting point that when you work with someone that's a non-stroke victim and you're doing weight training, so you're doing strength training, that actually has a very, very good effect. But if you take someone that's had a stroke and you try to just simply give them weight training, it doesn't work, not because weight training doesn't work, but because weight training is not addressing the reason why the person with a stroke can't have strength when they're bending their elbow, because it's all these other systems that might be damaged that's causing the person to be weak. So the treatment for someone that had had a stroke is not the typical strength training, but doing things such as balance challenge and gait activities and balance retraining that will help make the systems that are damaged improve. And when you improve those other systems, the client will see an improvement in their strength.